Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you are having an amazing day. Let's get right into the stories, and the first one is a pro-revenge story. So this went down a few years back, around 2018 or so. I was working for this big tech company in London, running their web dev team. We were setting up this new office with different squads, my coding crew, the content writers, and the SEO dudes. When I joined, the interviews were with the office boss, Jake, and this SEO guy, Rahul. Standard stuff. They asked if I could do this or that, and I'd be all, sure, no problem, or, yeah, but you'd get better results doing it this other way. I landed the gig and hit the ground running that first year, building out my team, redoing a bunch of sites. It was a whirlwind. That's when I started getting bad vibes from Rahul. He'd waltz over, telling me I had to code things his way. But I'd shut that down, explain why my approach was better. Dude would get all riled up and go crying to Jake about me not following orders. Jake knew I had the web skills, though, so he didn't push it. Alright, so fast forward to the real juicy bit. We'd busted our humps getting these two big sites ready for the board. The day before the big unveiling, we found a gnarly bug that broke core functionality. My senior dev Tyler and I pulled an all-nighter squashing that sucker. Meeting was at 10 a.m., and I'd been up coding for 24 hours straight. I'm running on fumes, but we nail the demo for the top brass. The CEO takes me aside after, thanks me for the heroics, and tells me to go catch some zzz. On the train home, I take my team out for a victory lunch to say thanks for the grind. That Friday, we're all out celebrating the launch. Start at this fancy cocktail lounge, which isn't my scene. I'm a beer and wings kind of guy. Everyone moves to a club after, but I dip out early to catch the last train. Roll in Monday morning, and there's this whole ruckus going on. Folks from corporate HR are in our office. They pull us team leads into a room. There's Jake, the two HR ladies, me, Emma, who runs content, and Rahul. Turns out Rahul's boy Rajesh from SEO went and filed a racism complaint against my guy Tyler from Friday night, saying he was spewing all kinds of vile stuff at the club. I'm like, no way, Tyler's as chill as they come. Emma and I have both worked with him for years, and he's zero problems. For some context, Tyler and I are white dudes, Rahul's black, and Rajesh is Indian. Not that it matters, just explaining the mix. Anyway, they interview everyone who was there that night. Every single person is like, nah, never happened. It's Rajesh's word against Tyler's with zero proof, but Rahul is insistent. He wants Tyler fired on the spot for being racist scum who shouldn't be in the workplace. Thank goodness Jake and HR kept level heads. They gave Tyler a warning about inappropriate comments, even though it was total BS from Rajesh. Things settled down for a couple months. Then one of the content guys, let's call him Bill, pulls me aside. He overheard Rahul and Rajesh plotting the whole racism claim as a way to take a run at my team since I wasn't falling in line with Rahul's demands. Their genius plan was to get Tyler fired for being a racist POS. Then Rahul would say I had failed as a manager for letting such a thing happen under my watch, meaning I'd be the next one on the chopping block. Bill said he tried telling HR about overhearing the scheming, but it was his word against theirs. I was fuming, but I knew I needed to play this smart. Didn't let on to Tyler or anyone that I was on to Rahul and Rajesh's petty vendetta. Few weeks go by, and I'm closely watching those two snakes. That's when Lady Luck shined on me in the stairwell. I'm out for a smoke break, and who's there jabbering away but Rajesh himself? He clocks me and goes white as a ghost mid-conversation. From what I could hear, he was inquiring about some kind of school and asking about visas. Seemed sketchy as hell. My spidey sense was tingling, but I didn't have concrete proof yet. Few days later, I'm upstairs at our headquarters. New office manager is posted up there full-time, so I gave him the heads up about overhearing Rajesh's fishy call. Mentioned they might want to review his visa status and eligibility to work here. Nothing happened for a week or so. Then bam! Rajesh just stopped showing up to the office. Couple days after that, I hear through the grapevine that dude got straight up fired. Turns out his visa was no longer valid and the company wasn't interested in sponsoring him for a new one. Piecing together more of the story, Rajesh was originally from Dubai, Came here on his wife's student visa after she got into some course, but her studies wrapped up recently, putting their visa situation in jeopardy. That call I overheard? Rajesh was trying to get admitted to one of those sham colleges you hear about. Literal storefronts that exist just to churn out visa documents for international students who pay their fees. With the wife's visa about to expire and no steady income to pay the costs of this scheme, Devian Baku dude had no choice but to book a flight back to Dubai when we gave him the boot. Bye, Felicia? As soon as I heard what went down, I filled Tyler in on the whole messy saga. How Rahul and Rajesh tried to take him out with that bogus racism claim, all because I wasn't being a yes man for Rahul. Tyler was shell-shocked, but he said I went above and beyond defending him. No need to apologize for being a good leader. Few months later, I pulled Rahul aside and let him know I was hip to his underhanded games with Rajesh. Told him he better watch his step going forward. 2 months after that, Rahul puts in his resignation papers and slithers away. Over the years, some people have asked if I felt bad about how things played out with Rajesh getting deported, but I always say the same thing. I don't lose sleep over standing up for my people against backstabbers, willing to throw them under the bus for personal vendettas. You come at my team, you best not miss. The next one is an entitled people story. I own a small strip mall that has about 6 different stores in it. There's a cafe, a clothing boutique, a salon, and a few other little shops. It's nothing fancy, just a typical neighborhood strip mall. I inherited it from my dad who built the place back in the 80s. The tenants pay me rent each month and I handle any building maintenance issues. For the most part, it's a pretty easy gig. The tenants are all small business owners who are respectful and don't cause problems. Well, except for one, the owner of the boutique, Karen. Karen is your stereotypical entitled suburban mom. She's always complaining about something and demanding I cater to her every whim as the landlord. If anything is slightly not to her liking, she throws a fit and threatens to stop paying rent. She's a major pain in my ass. And the latest thing she's been bugging me about is the parking. I have a small parking lot in front of the stores with about 20 spaces. It's always been more than enough for customers and the business owners, but Karen insists it's not good enough for her fancy boutique clientele. Last week she came storming into my office, ranting and raving that there's nowhere for her customers to park because the lot is always full. She demanded I expand the lot immediately. I calmly explained to her that in the 10 years since she opened her store, parking has never been an issue before. Plus, it would cost a fortune to expand the lot, which just isn't feasible. Well, Karen did not take no for an answer. She threw another epic toddler tantrum, complete with foot stomping and dramatic arm flailing. She declared that if I didn't expand the lot, she would terminate her lease and find somewhere better for her elite boutique. I tried to reason with her again, but Karen wasn't having it. She stormed out yelling that she was done dealing with my incompetence as a landlord. Honestly, I was stunned at her audacity. I knew dealing with her was always a headache. But this was next-level nuts. Later that day, I started getting calls from the other business owners asking what was going on with the parking lot. Apparently, Karen told them all that I would be demolishing the existing small lot to build a huge new one. She got their hopes up that they would be getting all this new parking for their customers. I had to explain that no, I would not be tearing up the parking lot that has worked perfectly fine for over a decade. Needless to say, the other tenants were pretty pissed at Karen for lying to them and starting unnecessary drama. At that point, I'd had it with Karen's disruptive antics. I decided to start looking into evicting her for breach of lease. But before I had a chance to get that process started, Karen pulled another crazy stunt that sent me over the edge. I drove to the strip mall one morning to pick up some paperwork from my office. I parked my big blue pickup truck in my usual spot, then went inside for about 10 minutes to grab what I needed. When I came back out, my truck was gone. Somebody had stolen my truck right from my own parking lot. Just then, Karen came strutting up with a smug grin on her face. She informed me that she had my truck towed because it was improperly parked. I was absolutely stunned. I stammered angrily that this was my property, and she had zero right to tow my vehicle. Karen said in her snottiest voice. Oh, but according to the new parking regulations that I so kindly took the liberty of posting, tenant owners must only park behind the building, customer parking only in front. I looked where she was pointing, and sure enough, there was a little laminated sign stating her made-up rule. I ripped it down immediately. This woman had lost her mind. I got right in Karen's face and told her she better call whoever she had tow my truck and get it back here immediately. And she better pray my truck wasn't damaged, or else she would regret the day she set foot in my mall. Karen blinked in surprise, like she couldn't believe I was standing up to her. Her smug smile faltered a bit before she cleared her throat and declared, "Oh, please. I was doing you a favor. That hideous truck was bringing down the whole aesthetic I've so carefully crafted for this parking lot." I had finally reached my breaking point with this deranged woman. Something in me snapped. Without thinking, I hauled back and slapped Karen right across her entitled face. She staggered backwards, shrieking, "Did you just hit me? Oh my God, I'm calling the police." Karen grabbed her cell phone out of her obnoxiously large designer handbag, but before she could dial, I ripped the phone away from her. "Give me that phone, Karen! We're calling the tow company and getting my truck back here first. Then the cops can come and arrest your crazy ass for illegally having my vehicle towed," I yelled. Karen started sputtering excuses, but I cut her off. It was time she listened to me. I explained in no uncertain terms that she had zero authority to make up bogus parking rules or tow vehicles. As the property owner, I was in charge. She was merely a tenant who had grossly overstepped her bounds. Realizing she was trapped, Karen's belligerent facade started to crumble. She broke down in tears, pleading with me not to have her arrested. I almost felt bad watching this middle-aged woman pathetically begging me through her smeared mascara and runny nose. But then I remembered all the hell she had put me through. The police were definitely still getting called. However, I decided to have mercy and not press charges as long as Karen agreed to terminate her lease and vacate the property immediately. She tearfully agreed to my terms. I got my truck back, safe and undamaged. Karen moved out her boutique that very week. The other mall tenants were thrilled to see her go. We decided to split up her large store into 2 smaller retail spaces and found much better tenants. As for Karen, I heard from the salon owner that she tried opening her boutique in another strip mall across town. But she pulled the same parking lot nonsense within a month and got kicked out of there too. I guess some people just never learn. At least I can run my small mall in peace again without that nightmare Karen causing drama. The next one is a petty revenge story. My buddy and I like to gamble. Jake and I had a pact solidified by a 5-year bond. He'd often swing by, we'd crash in front of my computer, and play sports bets. It was our shared thrill, using my stake account and my cash, but with a gentleman's agreement. Winnings were to be split 50-50. It wasn't just about the money, it was about the stories we'd tell, the highs and lows we'd ride together. Or so I thought. It's important to note that he is not as well off as I am. Note, we used my account because stake gives me good perks, since I have status with them, free money, events, etc. The betrayal hit when Jake placed a particularly hefty parlay using my account. I was hesitant but trusted our bond enough to let him go through with it. The bet was a long shot, but it hit big. That's when things went wrong. Jake decided the winnings were solely his, severing our agreement. The sting wasn't just about the money, it was the crumbling of a friendship I had valued deeply. Fate, however, has a funny way of setting the scales right. In an unexpected twist, I bought 1 courtside ticket to an NBA game and received 4. The seller made a mistake. The game was featuring Jake's favorite team, the Heat. The gears in my mind began to turn towards vengeance. I orchestrated a night to remember with our mutual friends, deliberately excluding Jake from the invitation list. We had a great time. Sitting courtside is unreal if you're a basketball fan. I realized the true worth of the evening was in these authentic moments with real friends and not Jake. Throughout the game, we took plenty of photos and videos, shared across social media, purposefully letting Jake know just what he missed out on. It was kind of about rubbing it in. In the end, the courtside seats did more than provide an unforgettable experience. They showed me the difference in real friendship versus fair weather friendships. And as for Jake, the silence on his end spoke volumes. The lesson was clear. Some friends are silver and others are gold. The next one is a malicious compliance story. So first off, I need to say that in my native language, vegan and vegetarian sound very similar, important for the story. So our burger shop is popular due to our vast range of vegan vegetarian burgers and the ability to customize everything, which sucks a lot. We get all sorts of ignorant wannabe vegans and I want it gluten-free but also a big pack of chili cheese types of people. But this lady takes the prize, so it's a late night and we're only about 5 people working in total. But there aren't too many customers, so it's not too bad. I'm handling the kitchen solo, and we've got our rookie handling registers. He makes a few errors here and there, but is handling himself pretty well. Until Karen arrives. Now, I don't hear her order, but after a minute or so, her order comes up on my screen. 1 halloumi burger. No biggie, I make the burger and he serves her quickly and everything seemed fine. Until she returned. I don't have line of sight of the registers, but I can hear her screaming at the poor rookie, so I get over there quickly so the rookie doesn't get left alone with an angry Karen. Me. What seems to be the issue? Karen. I ordered a vegan halloumi burger. But look here. It has mayo on it. Now, if you don't know, halloumi is a type of cheese. Me. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, the rookie must have misheard you. But unfortunately, we cannot make the halloumi burger vegan since halloumi is cut off. Karen. I don't care. I've had it before and I want a vegan halloumi burger. Just remove everything that isn't vegan, you idiots. Now, I don't take kindly to being treated this way, and usually I would have just thrown her out, but I saw an opportunity here. Me. Sure thing, ma'am. I'll make it right away. But what she obviously didn't know is 1, halloumi isn't vegan, and 2, the bread we use for it is brioche, which contains butter. So I grab a paper wrap for the halloumi burger, put some lettuce, onion, and tomatoes in there, and wrap it up. I put on my best fake smile and gave her the obviously not burger-shaped burger and said, "Here you go, ma'am, 1 completely vegan halloumi burger." The look on her face when she unwrapped that mess of assorted vegetables will give me joy for many years. And of course, she started screaming again. Karen, is this a thing joke? What the F do you think you are doing? I want your manager now, you idiots. And like a summoned genie, my manager came over from the drive area to see what all the commotion was about. Karen, this idiot can't make a effing vegan halloumi burger and tries to give me this crap instead. I want my effing money back and I'm gonna report you all to corporate. Manager, cool as a cucumber. Well, lady, this seems to be correct, because last I checked, halloumi was a cheese, and our bread contains butter. So would you like to change to one of our regular vegan burgers, or are we done here? Karen was fuming. We could have used the heat from her to grill our meat on. She did a full 180 and kept screaming on her way out. Karen, this is not over. You will pay for this. As soon as she was out the door, we collectively lost our crap, just laughing at that poor pile of lettuce, onions, and tomatoes. As far as I know, she hasn't come back, and we still haven't paid. The next one is an entitled People story. This is a story and rant about a Karen couple, being my brother-in-law, let's call him Ken, and sister-in-law, she'll be the Karen. FYI, I'm Asian and we stay with our parents, important. So, my husband and I had dated for 8 years before getting married, and I had heard a lot of stories of their entitled attitude during that time. So when we got married, I was prepared and expected some drama, but man, was it some drama? Their drama is never ending, and they can create drama out of anything and everything. There are a lot of small incidents that I would like to mention, but that's for later. First of all 4 of us work and we earn much better than Ken and Karen, and that is a point of jealousy for them. Also, my side of the family is better off financially and also has better relations. A joint family, my uncles and aunts and their kids stay together and have good relations with each other. This also makes Karen complain that I come from a big rich family and am allowed to do whatever, as if she has restrictions. My mother-in-law, MIL, and father-in-law, FIL, are very kind and good people, but they are also very old. Since Ken is the first child, he is very spoiled. He needs to be spoon-fed everything. He's about 38 years old and he can't even write an application for himself. He requires Phil to do it for him, and since Karen saw this attitude when they got married, she does the same. They think they are entitled to FIL's money and resources. They're always out for him when he spends money. Although it's his money, they try to keep him in check. One time, Karen even asked him for his bank statements to see where he was spending. Phil is retired and doesn't have much income due to loans and stuff, but he still runs the house like buying groceries and taking care of Ken and Karen's children, and he is still undermined and humiliated by them. And it's worse with Meal. They treat her like a maid who is to clean for them, cook for them, and take care of their children and then get complained about that she's not doing her best. After we got married, the drama has gone above and beyond anything. Karen tries to compare herself with me on everything, like she's a better cook, of course with more, about 8 years more experience than me. It would be a shame if she isn't better. Everything we do together, she is comparing us. Although she acts all friendly in front of me, she idiots about me all the time to others, including Mill and Phil. We have overheard a lot of remarks and complaints about me from Karen. They had a habit to go to Mill and Phil late at night after they thought we were asleep. They used to shout and complain that we, me and my husband, were getting preferential treatment. Mill and Phil indeed do treat one couple with more preference, but that is not us. Since they, Ken and Karen, are the older couple, and Mill and Phil are aware of their entitled attitude, their opinions and preferences are given priority so that some drama can be avoided. But they are never satisfied and always have something to complain. Karen works in a different city while Ken stays with the in-laws, while my husband and I used to work from home, WFH, post-COVID. So, when she comes home on vacation, she comes like every month. That's a privilege in itself. And then she expected me to handle all chores while she would enjoy idioting to people on the phone. My office hours are 2 p.m. to 11 p.m., so I used to help Mill with chores and the kids from morning till 2 p.m. They rarely contributed anything financially, even when Phil asked, which was very rare. Phil is so disappointed and unsuspecting of them that if he ever needs financial help, he contacts us. And of course, we help because it is the right thing to do. We take helping family as a responsibility, while they consider it a tedious task. They don't even take care of the kids properly, and just keep complaining that Mill and Phil are responsible for the rotten personality of their son. Whatever you may say, kids learn and mimic their parents first before anyone else. The kid sees his parents disrespecting the grandparents, so he does the same. He behaves a bit in front of us, especially me, because I don't tolerate bad behavior, and he gets some beating, and that is always after at least 2 verbal warnings. Some people might think it's unfair for me to discipline someone else's child, but if I'm taking care of your kid, I very well will be disciplining them. I got very stressed and have got anxiety issues because of all this. They have ruined many family relations because of their entitled attitude. Only a few near and dear relatives visit Emil and Efil. Others have cut off from us because of them. Well, a lot of things happened, and now that my work required me to go to the office, we had to move out to a different city, and recently, it has gotten worse back home. MIL and FIL have to take care of chores and kids alone. We recently visited home on vacation, and probably, we are not sure, but it seems like it. We think that Ken has either quit his job or was fired from work. He never used to take more than 1 day leave from work, even when Karen was pregnant or his kids were sick. But now, suddenly, he took 1 week off to take care of Phil. He got a minor eye operation for cataract. And then he acted like going to work for a week while we were home. We assume he was acting because of his sudden change. He used to dress up well for the office, but suddenly now he wore casual clothes, and he went to the office late, and came back early while it was vice versa till now. Sus. So Ken's son is a headache, a spoiled brat, and he is uncontrollable for FIL and Miel, and the daughter is just a toddler. So as soon as we came back from home, Phil calls us distressed that Ken has traveled to Karen's place for a few days, without proper reason or explanation. The son was sick and Fael is also still recuperating from the operation, and there was plan and maintenance at home, which required some heavy shopping and monitoring. He was aware of all this and still left at such a critical time. Phil and Mill are very frustrated and stressed, and we are so far away that we can't do anything. It's infuriating how entitled and shameless people can be. And we called in a few days later, and guess what? He's back and just staying home, so we are now sure he's been fired from his job. Definitely fired, 'cause of his entitled high and mighty attitude. Well, a few days went by and Fia let us know that Ken has landed a better earning job, and we're hoping now that he'd be more responsible. But entitlement is like a bad habit, easy to come and hard to leave. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate it if you could like the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll see you again tomorrow.